let's get it.
Hello, welcome. Super excited to have our guest on, Nikia Carter, who's going to talk about some awesome stuff about AI and using it with events and how to use Copilot. So super excited. A couple things we're going to talk about. Digital event code of conduct on these calls. We always want to be respectful of each other and have a safe and welcoming environment, and be kind to each other. Use the tools that we have to raise hands and come off mute and all of that. So thank you so much for going by these guidelines. That's great. Awesome. We're going to do, like I said, Nikki is going to have an update for us. We're going to do some subcommittee stuff and head on into some thank yous and gratitude. So thank you for our MVPs and our regional directors who work all the time on great stuff. And then also we have newly minted MVPs always on the first of the month. So back in September 1st, welcome to the party. If you have been newly minted, thank you so much. My name is Heather Cook, and I head up I'm one of the key stakeholders for the Global Community Initiative at Microsoft, joined by Brian Hart, who works on the community tenant and back end of the MGCI, and a new face, Emily Hove. Hello, Emily. New to our team. You want to say hi to everybody and where you are in the world?
Hi, everyone. Super excited to join. Yes, I am, I guess, on the Olympic Peninsula in the state of Washington. So yep. We wave to our neighbors in Victoria, Canada, from where I am. Okay. But anyway, I'm really excited to be supporting you all in the great work that you're doing. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. This is our mission statement. We're in the process of working on our mission right now. I know that our board and regional leaders are looking at this to give it a little bit of a vision update. So event amplification, our trainings that we hold, different blogs, opportunities to network, how to use different technology tools, best practices, playbooks, and more for putting on events in our community. So that is our mission. And you can join our mailing list. We also are out on the Microsoft Tech community and can join us there as well. If you want emails directly in your inbox, you can use the QR code to sign up for that. It's also on the front page of aka.mspec.mgci, all the way at the bottom. And we have a couple of cool things, website updates coming end of September. We're going to have all the resources for these general sessions, both slides and on demand, and our event trainings up on a page on amcadoption.microsoft.com. So very excited about that. And so after each of these meetings, we'll have those put up there. And then our YouTube channel, Microsoft Community Learning, will always have our on demand of these meetings as well. Couple of top of mind things as far as the community tenant goes. We have had to make some changes to the community tenant because of our Secure Future initiative. And so all accounts that are guest accounts on the community tenant are going to be removed by October 1st. So we've got a couple of weeks. Those who are owners of teams that run user groups or that run events on the community tenant, as long as you are an owner or part of a committee, and as an owner and you have your like heather.cook@msftcommunity.com email address, which all owners should have or will be getting, so you can access the community tenant. That is all goodness. For those that are folks who are just who are members of MGCI or who may be members of your user groups, those addresses will be taken out, and we're moving people into the tech community. We have an MGCI area there. And then also we have some new information about user groups on the Microsoft Tech community. Brian, you want to take that one?
Sure. So with the imminent loss of guest access into the community tenant, we are setting up a new area where people can support their user groups. And what we're doing is launching some new functionality called the Tech Community User Groups. It is currently in private preview, which means it doesn't show up in the navigation. But if you visit that AKA that's listed in the next steps, you will get access to it, and you can get started setting up the environment for your user group. We will be sending out some additional information when it's fully active about, best practices of how to use it and all that sort of thing. But for now, you can get in and play and see how you like it, and be sure to send us lots of feedback about things you do and do not like, as it will help us improve that service going forward.
That is awesome, Brian. I'm so excited about this. This is awesome. And I put the link in the chat. So awesome. With no further ado, we will kick it over to Nikia. Do you have access to do the slides this time? I think Brian made you a presenter, so.
Yeah, I think it looks like I do.
Yahoo! Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm clicking the button.
Awesome.
And okay, looks like I have something. Okay.
Cool.
Yay! I can move slides. Thank you. So thank you everyone for joining my session today, and apologies for having my avatar up. But I forgot I was going to be in Ghana instead of being in Washington State. So 7 hours ahead puts me at midnight right now. So I'm going straight to bed after this. But anyway, wanted to present to you all about using Microsoft Copilot to help make your communities better, especially those that are trying to cross community, but global communities help that. So my name is Nikia Carter. I am the MGCI regional lead for EMEA under my company CISA Tech. I'm CTO there. I also have a company in the States, NTC Tech in Washington State. But you can see I'm also an MVP for Copilot and SharePoint. So those are the main points I just want to point out on this slide for how giving you some bona fides behind why I'm talking to you about this topic today. So we will begin with the introduction to Microsoft Copilot and then talk about some of the capabilities that it has. And then we'll examine how it empowers and community leads in productivity and collaboration. And then after that, we'll explore some strategies for boosting engagement and growth, and then look at best practices and success examples. Now, you may have some questions while I'm, going through this presentation. Feel free to jot them down, and hopefully we'll have time at the end. But better yet, use the chat window. That way, if, we don't get a chance to get to it, then I can get to it after I finish with my talk, as Heather ends the call out. Okay, so Microsoft Copilot, as most of y'all probably already know, it's Microsoft's AI. It's built into a lot of different things, but we're going to talk about it from the M365 perspective and how it can make everyday tasks, including the tasks that you have to do for running your community call or your communities, making those tasks easier. It's designed for diverse and global communities. So it can be used whether we're, in the US, we could be where I'm at in Ghana, we could be anywhere else, and Copilot can help. So as for one example, you can imagine when you have potentially a newsletter for your tech community, that can be a lot of gathering together of information, putting in, the different content spots, and you can use Copilot to actually gather that information for you, gather the content pieces so that you can put it in your newsletter, and that automation can help with the time saved, can help you with saving time. Apologies, I'm a little tired, so if I sound weird, that's why it is. Okay, moving on. So this is a slide showing a lot of different Copilots that Microsoft has so far. Now, there's more than these, but these are some of the ones that most people think about. Now, when we talk about the techniques and tips that I'm going to give you in this presentation, I'm more focusing it towards Copilot Chat, which is the free version of Copilot. The M365 version of Copilot, which is the one that when you go to office.com and you sign in with your Microsoft Office 365 credentials, the first homepage you get to now is not the M365 homepage anymore. It's Copilot. So that one. And I'm also referring to the Copilot in your M365 that you pay for. So Copilot chat free, M365 Copilot free-ish, because it kind of comes with everything else that you may already have. And then the M365 Copilot, that one costs money per license. And then I forgot, there's one more that I forgot to point to, and that's Copilot in Teams, which is actually called Teams Premium instead of Copilot or Teams Copilot. Okay. So some of its core strengths are content generation. So like I was talking about earlier, generating content for those newsletters, but generating content for documents and generating content for emails. Some people don't think about that, but emails are still content, so you can generate that as well. Task automation, helping you with that, scheduling, reminders, things like that, helping you analyze data, extract different insights from the web, but it could also be from your own data, especially if you have that M365 license. And providing suggestions and recommendations. Sometimes it even provides things that you might have ever thought about. So it could be good to ask for those types of things. So for example, Copilot can summarize like a long email thread, so you don't have to scroll through the whole thread and try to figure out what everything is being talked about. You can get that summary. It also works seamlessly with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, depending on your license, depending on, what level of thing that you have. And it provides real-time help as if it was your smart assistant that's always there to support you. So instead of having that person that could tire out, your AI does not tire out. And it's always there for you. Still need the person though. But if you're beginning to build something like a presentation, Copilot can help with generating the content. It can help with suggesting the layouts, even help with suggesting the visuals. It can create visuals depending on which version of Copilot you're using. And you can use it to update presentations. So, you may have an old presentation and, you should know in essence what has changed, but you may ask the Copilot to give you content based on things that have changed. And the reason why I say that is because you got to make sure that you check behind Copilot and any other AI, because sometimes they hallucinate, they bring back information that might not necessarily be true or might be a little bit old. So you want to make sure that you're double checking it. And that's the reason why you need a person with experience behind the keyboard for that. Some other things. Copilot supports multiple languages and has accessibility features that can make it inclusive for lots of different users. It empowers communities worldwide and can bridge gaps using the multilingual support. It can especially be perfect for global communities, especially those that are crossing into other regions, other countries of the world. Can help by bringing in multi-languages. And so far, it's up to 48 languages, and Microsoft has continued to expand that set. Okay. Now, community leaders can automate their routine tasks and streamline communication and foster collaboration using AI, namely Copilot. This means more time for the work where you actually need to think, as opposed to just doing, emails and checklists and, tasks that just are administrative. You need time to actually think about topics and speakers and how am I going to attract some sponsor dollars, things like that, something that's a little bit more intensive. So, another example is you can also allow it to, if you have Teams Premium and it's running on your meetings, whether they be your internal team planning meetings or they be your meetings for your community, it can take notes and action items and remind you of things and all of that. So you can use this tool to help you with all types of things like that. It can help with suggesting event times, the best times to have your events for your region, with creating those email invites, the messaging that goes into that, managing your calendar. It can help reduce scheduling conflicts and boost participation by suggesting, again, the best times. So you can use it to help coordinate your events, especially if you're doing those that might cross time zones. It can be very helpful to have Copilot help you schedule those out. Okay. It can also summarize your meetings. So as I was saying, you can have like your internal team planning meetings, summarizing those meetings, pulling out the insights and the different things that you need to share. But also communication is key when you're working in a team like this, a team environment where no one's getting paid for the job, but everybody has a responsibility to do, and things can fall apart if people don't do their responsibilities or don't know that they're even responsible for it. So instead of, having to take notes and try to, send all these things out, you can have Copilot in Teams Premium take the notes for you. You can have it analyze the meeting. But you can take those notes and the action items and send them out to the team. Of course, you want to make sure you double check over it just to make sure it's sending everything out correctly. You're sending everything out correctly. Copilot can automate tasks for report generation and tracking your members' participation, as well as managing documents. Again, freeing you up for time for strategic thinking. So you can use Copilot to help ensure that you have accurate records of who attended. It can help you determine things like which topics or which speakers were most popular, or what were the best times and days where people seem to be most available to come to your community calls. Copilot can also be used to help with personalizing experiences, creating content, and expanding your reach via social media. The AI insights can help and be tailored towards all of those efforts. So it can help with analyzing like your engagement data and suggesting ways to increase its participation, as I was saying earlier. It can be used also to understand the interests and preference of the participants. The communications for the events can be customized for different segments. So if you have different types of or segments of people that are coming to your call and you don't want to email blast them all about a specific announcement, maybe for a specific topic that only a certain part of your group will want to know about, you can customize that messaging to that certain part of the group and send the target messages instead. As I was saying earlier, it can help with content generation. So think of it for newsletters, presentations, emails, as I was talking about earlier, but basically any type of documentation. It can help make your gathering of all that knowledge and sharing it in a way that makes sense. So say for example, you need a quick how-to guide for new members that are your new community members. You have some folks that are just, they just need a little bit of guidance on how to become part of the community, when the community is happening, how do they join the calls, if there's community chat, where that is, so forth and so on. So you could use Copilot to help generate that guide for you within a couple of minutes. Like for example, I'm running two companies and two user group communities, one in the business and one in the more user space. Don't have a whole lot of time. So I use Copilot to help me create this presentation. Now I had to go through it, make sure everything was right and all I's dotted and T's crossed. Because as I said, sometimes it'll stick little, and it could be very little things that you might not notice if you don't go through and read everything, which is another reason why it's important to have the experience as well, so that you can check behind Copilot and make sure it's actually telling you the best things. But I used it to help me get this presentation together, so that I could make sure I had something that was well thought of and put together, but I didn't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. I just had to add my extra things and double check everything. You can also leverage it for your social media posts and campaigns, your outreach campaigns. You can use it to help create different strategies to attract new members or boost engagement, or, as I said earlier, give you a schedule when's the best times for you to post, or analyze the campaigns that you've already had out there in the world already and see how they're doing. So now let's look at some examples of Copilot's impact, and we'll also look at some tips and best practices. Time permitting, which I'm not sure again what time I could just keep on not paying attention to that. But if I have time at the end, I will invite you to share your experiences as well. But you can also feel free to share them in the chat window, just in case we run out. Okay, so community leads can use it to Copilot to improve their efficiency, improve their engagement, and streamline their operations. So, for example, in my user group community, it's called the Nancy Tech. We use Copilot when we present. We sometimes create presentation decks, or just create or grab the content we need to create the presentation deck. We've used it to help us with email invitations, with analyzing the meetings, with giving us notes on our planning meetings. And even there's been times when we promised something in a user group meeting and nobody wrote it down. So I'd come back to AI and say, what did we promise? So that we make sure that we're delivering what we promised in the next meeting. You can also use it to crunch data and get those data-driven metrics out that help you assess the impact that your community is having, and help with, which could also help you figure out how you can improve engagement and get more growth. You can use it to help measure your engagement, the participation, as well as the community growth, tracking all those metrics like attendance and the meeting's activities, and feedback that may have been given. Now, when it comes to Copilot or anything new, you want to make sure that your team, especially your team that you're planning with, if you plan to use Copilot for helping you to plan, make sure they understand Copilot, how to use it, but also how you plan to use it for your organization, so that people aren't doing things with it they shouldn't be doing. You could also, of course, teach others in the community. But if you're going to be using a tool for your planning team definitely needs to be brought on board with Copilot, understand its uses, understand its limitations, and understand how it's going to be used. So some things to consider, have some resources here. Some of these resources you see on the slide are saying that they're Microsoft partner, but they're open, so you can go and look at them even if you're not a Microsoft partner. Now, this is kind of a little bit off the subject, but still on the Copilot train. Copilot is a journey to get to it. Don't just turn it on. There's been a lot of horror stories, and you don't want to be one of them. You want to make sure that you go through all the steps that you need to go through, ensuring that you not only understand what you're trying to do so that you buy the right licensing, and not buy a license that you didn't, you thought was going to do X, Y, Z, but it ain't going to do X, Y, Z. You make sure everything's locked down. You have the right compliance. You have the right permissions. Things are clean so you don't get junk in, junk out. As many features as you need and benefits that you need to get out of Copilot, you need to ensure that you're going to get them through going through some steps and making sure that you've hit all the levels that you need to hit for your organization to make sure that when somebody asks a question, they get back an answer that not only is truthful, but they're entitled to. If they're not entitled to it, they should not be getting that answer back. So you want to make sure that does not happen. And those steps in that blog can help you. I don't know if we have time, Heather. Do we have any time left, or do you need to move on?
Sorry, I had myself on mute. We have a minute.
Okay. So I just want to find out from folks, what ideas or if there's any ideas or case studies or tips that you have, if you've been using Copilot. Would love to hear them, as well as any questions there may be. Just going to give it a minute.
I'll tell you, I'm using it for helping sometimes jumpstart titles and abstracts for folks for sessions. I like to write my own stuff, and I like that too. But sometimes people need a prompt of a prompt, if you will. And so sometimes it's like, what do you think of this? Especially if I kind of know the situation. So I'm using Copilot for that. I also use it for taking a URL of a blog article, and I will have it do a summarization of it for me for our Mondays at Microsoft scripts, or if I want to post something on LinkedIn. So I use it for that for sure too.
Yeah, I use it also for summarizing stuff. It is super helpful to summarize stuff you do not have time, but you really need to read it, but you do not have time to read the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, we're getting some in the chat too.
Yeah, some social media newsletters. Use it to clean up and review my own words. Yeah, but yeah, definitely do that. But Heather, you did strike a chord with me on the abstracts, because I know there have been times where I've gotten stuck. I know exactly what I mean to present on, but just making the little description why is that so hard? I don't know. You get brain locked for some reason. So we got another one, generating reports from raw data in Excel. Oh, I haven't gone really crazy on Copilot and Excel, but I'm sure it's a pretty fun ride over there with all the data.
Yeah. And like you did when you said that you used Copilot for this presentation. I've done that before on certain things where I've needed, some presentation slides for, even topics around event production. It does pretty good with and Brian does those for me. Thank you very much, Brian. Yes. But like a topic like help create a presentation on how to do budgets for events. Sometimes I do those things to just see what it does, and check it out. And then I might already have slides, or I have ideas about what slides I want to put in there. So like the blend. It's a time saver. It's a jump starter, kind of alchemist in a lot of ways. So that's what I love.
Yeah, we have lots of like prompts. Well, not lots, but we have like certain prompts where we've gotten so good at certain formats for the prompt. We're just like, we're going to use this, and we just put it in a notebook, and people just, take out the parts that they don't need and put in parts that they do need. But that's another handy dandy thing to use is OneNote to keep your prompts in.
Agreed. Yes, I have a
and then
prompt.
share them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. I love that too.
All right.
What do you
Thanks,
think of
folks.
this? Oh yeah, I love that too, Emily. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. The suggestions.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, it does sometimes come up and you're like, I never thought of that. Or that's an interesting twist on, I think I
Yeah.
will try that.
Yep. For
So yeah,
sure.
it can bring some fresh ideas that you might not have thought about.
Yeah. For sure. Well, cool. Well, let's wrap it up and we'll get into
Yes.
subcommittee stuff. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Well, I can just skip the conclusion, just let y'all know that, Copilot can help you with your community. So many different ways.
For sure.
Not just your community, your organization, but definitely your community. So I definitely encourage you to learn what you can, learn all you can about Copilot, and make sure you're sharing, and then make sure that you're documenting down so that you can share even better with your team going forward.
Awesome.
And
Yay.
that's it for me.
Oh, thank you. Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. That was awesome. So I'll take control back of the slides. Awesome. Cool. We always have our feedback QR code and our URL here for feedback on these meetings, which also help us to keep these meetings going. It lets us know what you like and what you want to see. So that's great. Our subcommittee leaders are here. Let's see. And I know we have Tom on, so I'm going to go through these really quickly. Communications, we have a newsletter coming up in September. We're signing folks up to be blog authors if you're a board member or regional lead. The sponsorship folks added Neil Patel to their committee, and they are working on edits to how to for sponsorship that hopefully is going to come out sometime later in the month. And then Tom is going to talk about community events. And if you want to take control and rock it out, that would be great.
Sure. All right, great. Yeah, so we have some updates. The month of August went a little crazy getting some of these backlog items out. So we have a lot of different things like in terms of just optimization and maintenance. So we overhauled the speaker board, gone through, made sure we removed all the duplicates. We validated all the sessions. We have now nightly jobs that run various checks and will email me to let me know the status of the board, just to make sure that the integrity is high, and that there's no orphans and the jobs are running. So I know that everything's in order. We've also unlocked the event title, so we've increased it to 75 characters, and then supporting special characters as well. So like $ or even as simple as a period or a hashtag. People had requested that, and we had to do enough checking to make sure that was going to work with the URLs of the sites. We've added a lot of improvements to the event creation, validating dates and various other checks, performance optimizations, loading on the speaker board, upcoming events, previous events. So now it's infinite scroll. It loads a lot smoother. It loads faster and continues to scroll through all the items, so it's more optimal. We added a new function, alerts, which you'll see on the next couple screens, which allows you to add your own alerts to let you know when events are coming up. You can subscribe to different regions, area, like radius around where you live, a couple states or where, geographical regions that's close by. We also have added a time zone button. So if you're like a remote speaker and you go to an event, you can see it in your own time zone as well. So it allows you to flip flop. So that's great for hybrid events and virtual sessions. Also, we added a little bit of partial support for sessionized user group types, not user groups in general, but Sessionize has a key for your content that's a user group type. So we've added the support for that, and that type is used for somebody that runs a meetup more than runs like in a community day or whatever type of event with multiple times a year. They don't have to go to Sessionize and get approval. They go and get one event approved, and then they can just kind of like add people at any month of the year that they want. It's like a recurring kind of subscription. So that's all specific to Sessionize. All right. And next up, so what are we looking at for next on the roadmap? Can I actually click it or no? I have to. If I click it, oh no, it's just moving for me.
Oh yeah, I know if you could take control or not. Either way. So
yeah, it's just, oh, there it is. Take control. Okay, cool.
there you go.
All right. So everything I mentioned was rolled out. Next up, we're looking at doing save an item as a draft at any point. So if you're in the creation process, if you've gone through it, it's a little bit lengthy. You need to have a lot of things. So we want to just allow you to save it, come back at any point, and just finish the data entry. After that, there's a couple things in the pipeline. Not quite sure if what's going to get to it, but these are on my mind. Adding speaker badges, some sort of acknowledgement for our community days speakers, the speakers that go out there and they're doing, free events for, traveling around the world, showcasing their expertise to different communities. So we want to be able to acknowledge those people that have earned like the top speaker of like 2024, 2025. So that's something that I'm planning to do before the end of the year. Also index management. So like we're seeing different things with the speaker board where it's like, well, there's a workshop that's paid and then the rest of the sessions are not. So like being able to kind of index the free stuff and leave out the paid stuff, that's sort of the improvements that we're looking to do right now. It's either in or out. So we want to, be able to give credit where credit is allowed. And then also finishing up that user group Sessionize key detection and validation. Really cool thing. Not everybody knows. We actually do talk to Sessionize, and I was able to talk to the owner of Sessionize and get him to add something to their API. So it allows us to detect if they have it. So it allows us to use this universal API where we can go and read more about your event. So he was able to do something for me, and now we're able to be a little bit more flexible on our end. And it's going to benefit everybody that's using Sessionize in our community. We also talked, in all fairness, to the Run Events folks there. So we have a great relationship with Sessionize and Run Events. So they'll both help us out. Like we all work together. And that's that for for August, the month of August. These are all the things that we did last month, and now we're moving into September updates.
Awesome.
So let's see. Next up, yes, really quickly, you can see there's a little green button there when you log in. You're on the events page. It'll allow you to create an alert, and you'll see the alerts here. We're creating an alert near me. This isn't me, but you can put in any address that you want and say what radius that you're looking for, what types of events that you're looking for. You can do once a month on the 1st of the month, or once and twice a month, which is the 1st and the 15th. That's when our digests will go out. I put Brian's house in there. So on the right-hand side is the email, and you can see it's a nicely attractive formatted email. And it's just the start. It's just step one in getting people notified of these things. Also want to thank our wonderful contributors. We have running people that are now actively contributing on the site monthly. We have people that QA, they check the data, they check when events, they make sure the speaker board's indexed, they make sure events have the right times. Some of the people on here speak at multiple events, so they kind of see it from the presenter part, the attendee part. So we have lots of different eyes looking at it. We have people here reviewing events and approving events. So it's not just me. It's a whole team of us here. And that's that. We want to thank everybody. And I did leave Carl off. I want to say I just met Carl at
cool.
At where was I? I was just at TechCon, and Heather, you were there.
Nice. Yeah.
So I met somebody there. I was telling Carl Karawani. So he's not on here. That's why I called him out special. And he did help with the alerts, reviewing and telling me, the button should be here. He's kind of does that for his work. He reviews UI stuff, and he was helpful in just reviewing like a new feature before it's released. So those are the types of volunteers we're looking for. And if you're
Awesome.
interested in volunteering, feel free to sign up to our group here on the MGCI, and be happy to have you. So thank you.
Yay. Thank you, Tom. Awesome job. And thank you everyone for leaning in and helping on that. It's fantastic. So we will get closed out here. If I can make the slides move, there we go. We have event training coming up on the 25th, graphics and branding with Wes and Sharon. We've got, let's see, October is Perla talking about great sessions with speakers report, November 18th with Augustine and Say, who is going to talk about how Augustine's going to talk about how they run their events, and then Say is going to talk about building formidable community in unfavorable environments. And so those are the next couple of months coming up. In December, we'll be taking a break. We are looking for speakers for the rest of 2026. Holy cats, I can't believe we're talking about that. So if you would like to sign up to share something with the community, please fill that form in and we will get you all connected. If you want to join us on that MGCI Community Hub on the tech community, because you are not going to be in the community tenant anymore and you want to be a part of the conversation, you can do that on the tech community. So go sign up there, create, if you're not already up there, create your login, and then also follow the MGCI Community Hub there, and we will talk and hang out later. And let's see, I'm going to pop over to, let's see, our wonderful Ignite. Microsoft Ignite's coming up in November. Everybody should register. It's free to register for the digital event. There is an in-person event in San Francisco, but you'll be able to have access to all the keynotes and all the content and all the goodness over there. So you should definitely check that out coming soon. And I think that really is it. That's a final QR code, again, for your feedback. And how about a big thank you and give each other grace. There's a lot going on in the world always, everybody. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Thank you, Tom, for the updates. Emily, thanks for the new support. Excited. Brian for the updates, and Nikia for that awesome presentation. And Cheryl, it's always lovely to see you. So yay. So, and those of you who are watching on demand, see you soon next time. So thanks for hanging out and chit-chatting with us, everybody. So
Thanks. Talk soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.